out.
Yeah, either way, the name of the game very much is just win if you can. Very important that you're just positioning yourself as best as you can for those relegation bracket spots, because moving up gives you one additional life, one additional chance for you to get that win. So that does bring us to game number 1 here momentarily. You did see the Demon Hunter was banned away, as we expected here. And going into this series, the tiebreakers have narrowed, and it does kind of depend on additional series for ETC. So ETC playing Firebat later on is going to also matter for that seeding and how players are going to be able to finish in that standing. And here we go, game number 1. Mage Hunt for Rami, Rogue for Nalguidan. I am loving that hand from the Rogue. It just looks really solid. Don't know if you need to keep Backstab, although it is very useful against early game minions from the Mage. But the other stuff looks pretty good. Okay. This looks like he ends up keeping just keeping the Backstab just so you can have that utility. Meanwhile, on Rami's side, you can actually justify keeping all this as well, which is fascinating.
Yeah, one of the things that I kind of parrot about Temple Mage is that all of their cards are so close in mulligan win rate that almost every single time you see a mulligan, you can justify keeping it. There are certain cards that synergize well with each other, but there's a lot of different cards that synergize well with each other. Oh my gosh, picks up Mana Cyclone off the top.
That's a good one. So Mana Cyclone is really good, but it does require a little bit more besides just what we see. Rami has to figure out what's the best way to find ways to mass resources to make this Mana Cyclone really pop and finish strong.
Yep. So the timing of the Cult Neophytes here could be pretty important. I like using one to try and gain tempo on the board, and then one to try and predict a top-off turn from Rami. Effectively solidify your own board state.
Sure. I like it.
So now get on gains tempo, and he does need a couple turns before he has a board that's like threatening enough. But turn 4, with that little cards in hand and no real indication of like cheap cards, additional cheap cards for the mage, you don't necessarily expect like a pop off on turn 4. A lot of times it's after that, whether it's Source Apprentice Mana Cyclone or Source Apprentice Shinvala. Both those turns usually are turn 5 or later, specifically on the play. So Nalguidan can feel free to take it a little bit slower. Right, even go for something like Coin Evil Miscreant and then fight on turn. Wow, double Astromancer Solarian early on at this game. Rami's just ripping all these minion cards off the top, and now he'll have 2 Solarian Primes available to him at some point in this game, if he hasn't won by then.
I mean, it realistically could get to that point. We've seen a lot of situations where, you know, Mage was Rogue, neither player able to really get a significant advantage, and as a result, they, you know, they go deep into the deck, and it becomes down to Solarian Prime, which already has gotten drawn. I'm not sure how you do it, TJ, but when you call it, it seems to immediately pop up.
Hey, Frost! Oh! So good.
I love that TJ now is a father of 2 and just has all this wide range of vocal ability that I just did not know he was capable of.
There's no other Astromancer. Bummer. Not the greatest outcome from Mana Cyclone, but at this point, who cares? He's got a Solarium Prime. Next turn!
Right. Solarium Prime next turn, which is nice. If he wants to play it, and it does depend on how much Nalguidan chooses to build up the board here, which it looks like he is favoring a lot of. He could also Secret Passage because his hand's looking a little awkward, and also could coin out the Flick Skyship and just shut down all of Sorcerer's Apprentice for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's also true.
Betrayal is interesting.
It was clever disguise without too many resources. But I think Betrayal, with the situation of kind of needing to kill the Sorcerer Apprentice somewhere or another, makes a lot of sense. And this is nearly a full board clear. Right. Dagger goes into the 2-1, push face, and yeah, this is 100% a Solarium Prime.
Let's do it. Rami and Nalguidan were tweeting beforehand how much fun they're going to have, and this is part of it.
Nalguidan's face, he's just like, yep. Actually has a dragon in hand, so gets a spell from that arcane.
Nice.
If he doesn't kill the questing
one.
adventurer, though. Hey, what?
Oh, the
What?
Pyroblast. Oh.
Alright. At least now he can flick the Solarium Prime, so no more shenanigans can happen.
Yeah. That actually works out really well.
One stab, mini kill.
Yep, so overall, you gotta feel pretty confident. If you're in Rami's position, because you have so many cards going on, and you gotta feel like your opponent can't do much against you here.
So pretty expensive.
All comes down to
hands, some
how he
reactive
wants to
cards.
outfit this, though.
Yeah. I feel like we've seen Mage win more times than not when they just take it a little bit slower.
True mastery takes
He's got answers to like questing with Polymorph, so he doesn't really have to worry about losing all in.
Jandis Barov.
Playing it into Raz if you're not killing the Raz is not good.
Yeah.
Not good at all. Looks like a secret passage turn to me.
So many.
And then the question becomes, do you Cult Neophyte first? You have 2 less mana to work with, but at least if you don't find anything too great, you're disrupting the turn. Alright, Dirty Tricks, Evil Miscreant, Wand Thief, alright. Prep, okay.
Yeah, there's something here for sure. Finds Ray of Frost, Combustion, and Icicle. The Ray of Frost is the most convenient for him to combo with other cards. Looks like he just wants to favor removal. And might have to prep this Combustion out. Look for a spell first. Find Plagiarize. That's actually really good for later on, but now it can Combustion and clear out the board here.
Yep.
I like it.
Oh, nicely done. Pretty clean turn. Get some additional value in the form of the Draconic Locking and Plagiarize. Takes control of the board. Eliminates the Raz, so Jandis Barov becomes a possibility. Mana Giant picked up. Already 2 mana. Most of the cards in the hand outside of the Cobalt Spellkin were generated. So he can get this thing free pretty easily.
Right. And he does have elemental allies as well to keep up his card draw. But he doesn't have 2 elementals guaranteed. Well, looks like he's going to go for the Deep Freeze instead. Just maximize his tempo and also discount that Mana Giant ever so slightly. And this is still annoying for Rogue to deal with. I like it.
What makes something real?
Okay, so which secret do we want to play here? I guess if you play a secret, your opponent will eventually test for plagiarize. But you also saw them play like a one card spend all their mana situation with Deep Freeze. So maybe you feel more confident about that. Also, if you play Dirty Tricks and then your opponent activates it, then they know the next one will be plagiarized. So I think this element of surprise is good here.
Yeah, because also he has a huge board state. So if Rami wants to minimize the amount of cards he's playing to play in the plagiarize, it means he's not dealing with this board. So I really like the plagiarize here because it means he's going to get cards or he's going to kill Rami. Like, those are the two options, essentially.
Right.
So puts Rami in a no-win situation. And this is not the greatest hand from Rami. It's very expensive. There's a lot of very situational cards. Probably more... I guess Flame Ward is quite good here, but if he plays Flame Ward, then Nalguidan knows it's Flame Ward and gets to kind of hedge around it as much as he wants to.
True. But at the same time, it's like you want to not take this damage from Rogue, though, right? Maybe just rips a Frost Nova. Doesn't get it. Gets Cone of Cold instead.
Even a Mana Giant too? Doesn't kill the Bladebound Adept.
Right.
What in the world? You gave him an Elemental for Elemental Allies too? What just happened?
Maybe he feels like he has enough cards that doesn't really matter nearly as much. I think that's one way to rationalize it.
There, I don't think there's a single way to rationalize it. I think that was a pretty poor turn. I think the plagiarize really threw Rami off there, and he just didn't really know what he wanted to do. Put a Mana Giant onto a board that he left a 6-1 up. Floated 2 mana. You might as well have just Cone of Golden in that situation.
Right.
You know, that's like the first thing that I would have changed about that turn. That would have put him in a much better position. Because now Nalguidan just gets to pick this apart. Gets to drop an 8/8 of his own. I don't know if he has any elementals in the deck that he can capitalize off of this. So the elemental allies I don't think matters, which means that I would hold on to it in case of to check for counterspell, extra spell for Edwin or Blessing Adventure, something along those lines.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait. Evasive Draconid over those two bad boys? Bad girls? So Dragon Queen Alexstrasza probably not good because he has too many duplicates left in his deck. He still has 4 duplicates in his deck. But Ysera, I felt like had some merit.
Yeah, I think that when you look at how this game is going, it seems like neither player is able to get a substantial, like, huge lead, and we are going to keep going until, like, the bottom few cards of the deck, and I do feel like Ysera might give you power like a Nightmare or Ysera Awaken to maybe clear a big board.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing any Chinvala stuff, so, like, maybe that's a way to answer that board as well, so... Hard to say right now. Like it does seem like Nalguidan is just favoring the tempo aspect, but maybe pretty soon he's gonna have to start considering whether or not he can actually find a way to just out pressure his opponent with big cards like a Ysera.
Your feeble magic amuses me.
And so Dirty Tricks gets set up. This is still a really big board. Nalguidan's pushing for the win. And Rami has some free, some stall, ways to generate spells. Start things off by activating the Dirty Tricks. And I guess from his end, he has to start playing things like his Arcane Breath, like his Cobalt Spellkin, like just start to transform these cards into actual value cards instead of cards that give you the value.
Yeah.
Oh,
Another
get a little
Flame
bit further ahead. Another Evocation. Another Flame Ward is interesting, though, yeah.
Yeah. Flame Ward here, I think, is... I guess double Flame Ward's a little excessive, because just the one Flame Ward is enough to deal with this board. I mean, that's just so much value in hand, right?
Right. You're trying to go for like a decisive swing. And Nalguidan should kind of, you know, be dialed in onto this and know what's coming. Start things off with Elemental Allies, perhaps, to try to see if you can trigger Counterspell.
Yeah.
I like it.
Be a dagger up. Hit as for Ice Barrier. Going for it. Ace Call, probably Flame Ward. I guess he wants instead of daggering up, it doesn't give him the option to go questing.
Right. And he does have this questing with a bunch of ways to pump it up. Finds a magic trick, which would be really solid right now. Could also just choose the Pexus Blast for direct damage burn.
Yeah.
Oh!
Or, I mean, his hand is light.
Yeah.
Ooh, Star Student Stelina.
In outcast position. He could shuffle in any card that he finds. Evocation.
Job done.
Haha!
And he's going to be like, yes,
Doesn't
that's
matter,
right.
he
You've
has a
been
second
foiled.
one.
There's no way you evocate me anymore. I am safe. Blizzard seems pretty solid here.
Yeah.
I think the Evolving Missiles is something he's thinking about as well to try to shut down the Questing Adventurer.
Yep.
Is there any way to happily marry these ideas so I can guarantee land it? I don't think so.
Ooh.
Okay, does end up landing on the Questing Adventure and finds a Toxin Blade. All right, that works with Nalguidan's hero power pretty well.
Yeah, but he still has to deal with this evasive Draconid. Because he can't ping
Blizzard
it. He just
times
Blizzard
2
two turns in a row, but
Yep. Blizzard looks good here.
That's an expensive way to deal with the evasive. The evasive Draconid pick's actually working out. Actually, I don't know. The Acera pick would have been probably would have been better in this instance.
I mean, I think both are
Results
pretty
in the
solid.
thinking, right?
Yeah, I would say both are pretty solid in this spot, largely because they're just hard cards for the mage to deal with.
Yeah, you just have 3 dream cards right now, which is
Sure.
Sunwalker's the stickiest. Camouflage, dirigible.
Job done.
He's the ice power. I like the stickiest here because you're coming close to winning this game, and Rami pretty much committed to 2 turns worth of blizzards.
I mean, he doesn't have to Blizzard. He could still Ray of Frost and like play the Violet Warden and greed a little bit more, but you are asking to get punished.
Yeah. Looking at the cards left for Nalguidan, he's got 2 Shadow Steps, Shadow Jeweler Hanar, Blackjack Stunner, 2 Plagiarizes. How did he play to Plagiarize? 8 cards. Yeah, Plagiarize. I guess the first Plagiarize was generated. Alright, just keep hitting him. Hit him with Van Cleave. Dagger up, hit him.
Job done.
I mean, this kind of board is still threatening, and Rami still hasn't proven that he can stabilize just yet. Maybe evocation, that the one that Nalguidan isn't expecting, can maybe help him, but... Oh my gosh. 2 evocations.
Yep. Rami knows that these are play dries, the only secrets that are left. So now he gives him Raise of Frost. And a Cobalt Spellkin. Cobalt Spellkin's a little scary in Rogues. You can find some damage with Sinister Strike, or Deadly Shot, or Deadly Poison, or even Plague of Madness. Shadow Step as well. He could use that Shadow Step on the Cobalt Spellkin to draw even more.
Right.
Sinister Strike.
There's all
6/7 this turn. Skyclaw.
I mean, it's just more board presence, I guess.
I really want to Shadow Step this Spellkin though.
Sure.
Power on board doesn't matter.
Right.
Oh no.
Rami.
He's got McGurgle Prime in his deck, Dan.
Right.
That Shadow Step's got one target and one target only.
And
Yeah,
that's a Gurgle Prime. Murgur.
Alright, Rolling Fireball, Cone of Cold, can't play both of those. Ice Barrier, Rolling Fireball, does that clear anything? No. Wait, Rolling Fireball on the Sunwalker clears everything, and then...
What to do?
Oh.
I mean, you just got a Cone of Cold here for sure to freeze the right side of the board, and then Ice Barrier, I think.
Ice Barrier and then Arcane Breath?
Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. Unless you really want to go for the Rolling Fireball, but I think this makes the most sense here. Ah, it's just pretty unfortunate that he couldn't deal with the Skyclaw.
He could have.
How much damage do we
3
have?
power off the board. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. Rami's at 15 effectively. He can find lethal with either Deadly Poison or Sinister Strike from the Cobalt Spellkin.
So many options.
I don't think he needs 2 Shadow Steps. I really want to Shadow Step it before I attack in case it's Flame Ward. Otherwise, what are these Shadow Steps doing?
Right.
Like maybe Edwin, I guess, in that situation? There we go.
Cobalt Spellkin makes the most sense.
I don't know why he
to
didn't
me,
Shadow
though.
Step first, because he had lethal if it was Spellbender.
Hogwoggle Scheme? Secret
Hogwoggle
Passage.
Scheme.
Is there stuff in his deck that he can use to potentially go for the kill here?
No. There's Pharaoh Cat, Blackjack Stunner, Plagiarize, Shadow Jeweler, Hanar, and Mercurial Prime are the last 5 cards for damage.
Got it. Okay. Well, everything here looks pretty solid still. Once more, setting up for an opportunity to kill Rami. Rami needs to find something to stabilize here.
Yeah, I mean, he's just on like a 2-turn clock with just daggers now. Evocation again.
Yeah.
All right, Frost Nova.
So Frost Nova is nice, but then what do you do with your remaining 6 mana here? You have Ray of Frost, Counterspell, Fireball, Tome of Intellect. Maybe a Tome of Intellect, you can just like get a puzzle box.
Yeah, I think Puzzle Box is the out here. Even like Ice Barrier to stop the 2-turn dagger clock, right?
He needs to find some way to stall. And Xiao Juhanar's not really it. But the nice thing is Nalguidan does have ways to fight that fatigue. So he's not super worried about it at the moment. Oh, he's going to go for the Xiao Juhanar's Secret Passage this turn? I don't know. I think so.
I guess he has way. You're right in the fact that he has ways to fight fatigue. So yeah, this is. I guess this is the most efficient way to do it. This is the last turn he can use Secret Passage because every turn after this, he'll take fatigue damage from Secret Passage.
Counterspell.
Yes.
And counterspell. Only because you want to really stop any kind of like shenanigans that your opponent can do to you.
Yeah.
And so Rami has to play around that counterspell, sees that it is. Now Evocation one more time, or Wand Thief. Actually, Wand Thief might help him now. I guess he sees more spells technically through the Evocation than he does through the Wand Thief by a pretty significant margin. Finds Blizzard. Would you like to Devolving Missiles first, or would you like to
Tome of Intellect
like TJ?
I want a puzzle box.
For the puzzle box? Yeah. You make a compelling argument, sir. On the one hand, you can potentially remove your opponent's biggest threat. On the other hand, there's like a 1 in 40 chance to get punished.
I guess he can, because of this, he can pick apart the board then Devolving Missiles. No, Devolving Missiles. What do I know? He just gets Devolving Missiles from the Tome of Intellect.
There you go. Now he gets to curate it. So definitely a little bit of an awkward situation here. Nalguidan still is so close to killing, but feels a little bit far away simply because of the taunt in the way at the moment. Togwaggle scheme. I guess he's just looking for direct damage off of that. Very likely he's going to be able to hit something.
Yep. Also can hit direct damage off Tome of Intellect.
Yes, also true.
Also can hit direct damage off of Evocation. Nope.
Choose soon.
Yeah, it does not look... It does not look like this is going to be a situation where Rami can bail himself out. This is down to 1 HP.
Yep. So he needs to clear the board or freeze the board and Ice Barrier. Or freeze the face.
Doable.
Alright, so this gets Doomsayer from the Skyclaw. Nope.
Yeah, it does not. So, trying so hard, so desperately just to survive. This Cobalt Spellkin finds nothing.
He's gonna bait the Ice Barrier.
Okay.
Yep, but it's plagiarized, so he shows him that it's Counterspell.
Alright, well that's going to do it. Nalguidan takes the rogue win here, and currently looking pretty solid. Remember, Nalguidan, Rami, their match does have pretty big impact on how the rest of the standings could end up looking for Division B. Getting that very crucial rogue win, but also showing the power of rogue and why it might be one of those X factors for a lot of lineups this week.
Yeah, just has different play styles, right? You can change your game plan based off of how the state of the game is in a moment. You can play for super tempo, go all in pretty early with questings. You can play for super value and go very late game, like Nalguidan kind of just did. It's a pretty annoying deck to play against, honestly, because you can never corner them into a specific win condition. They can always match you on whatever you're trying to do.
Yep, that's right. So that does lead us to our next intermission. We're going to take a few minutes and get set. And when we come back, we're going to continue the final day of the regular season here for Hearthstone Grandmasters.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network. T-Mobile.
Pets that I had growing up, many frogs. Used to catch a lot of frogs.
I had 2 goldfish, when I was at 8, I think.
We got our first cat. His name was Tiger. He was a barn cat.
Probably 100 to 200. They were all goldfish, and they all died relatively quick.
My sister got a dog. His name was Primo.
Most recently, we have a cat called Ember, which my family fails to call by name because they just try to call her like that, but her name's Ember.
My little brother got a cat. Oh gosh, I don't know his cat's name. I moved out of the house before he got that cat.
I had a cat growing up, and his name was Charlie, which in English would translate as Charlie.
The girl I was with at the time had 2 cats.
I had a bunch of pets growing up. I don't know if I want to give out their names that I remember, because I might use those for other purposes, but
The girl I'm with now has a cat, and her name is Kiki. So lots of cats, lots of dogs. Always love having an animal in the household, at least one.
Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters, the final day of the regular season, and we are in the middle of a series between Rami and Nalguidan. Nalguidan currently up 1-0 with the Rogue, able to get that win over the Mage. A little bit of chaos, but in the end, the Rogue is just really good at getting the first foot out, and never really fallen behind. Now we're left with a Druid and a Priest for Nalguidan's side that needs to get through. Rami's going to turn to his Malagos Druid. I believe, Tita, you're saying that he was the only Malagos Druid here in the field this weekend?
He is. That's correct. Yeah, the only one.
All right, well, we'll see if he's able to actually show what this deck is made of, or perhaps be fed to the wolves, as everyone else has chosen to opt out of this deck, and Rami is one of the few that chose to opt into it, which is always interesting for conversation.
He's brought it every week for the round robin phase, so I do think it's a comfort deck for him. And even though its power level has dropped quite significantly with the nerf to guardian animals, the deck still works and can still have those hands where you just win the game. But in close matchups, I feel like close matchups are the ones where it lost a lot. In the good matchups, like, we're talking about, the greedy priests, I don't think they lost much because they had time to to wait for guardian animals anyway. But against decks like Rogue or even Mage, one turn can be the difference of being able to answer a Mana Giant or not being able to answer a Mana Giant, being able to answer a big questing or not being able to answer a big questing. So those are the kinds of the spots where I'm worried about. And it does just feel like you're punished way more for not drawing ramp. And never mind.
I mean, he is just going to be able to ramp up then. Might as well. So, when you have the overgrowth, it does feel like it offsets a lot of that bad feeling when you don't have that Dark Guardian animals ready, because it costs 8 mana now. So, good start here for Rami. Nalguidan looking for early spell to use, choosing to tempo out the Kobold Geomancer. All right.
Rami has the answer.
Tempo, or go ahead, DJ.
I don't want to
go
ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. So the idea with the Mage is that you do get like this certain window of opportunity to try to set up your early board. You're trying to play like a Chinvala. You can even sometimes feel bold enough to extend on the board with Source of Credits early without the usual connections. But this kind of start doesn't really seem very convincing to make me feel like Nalguidan has a very consistent game plan against what's about to happen. But it could improve. Like Font of Power might give him a really good minion. He might save that for a Sorcerer's Apprentice. I personally kind of want to play Font of Power so I can get Mana Giant even cheaper and utilize the mana while I can, because you can plan around that Font of Power, versus right now he doesn't get to. But he does also need to keep in mind the Spell Burst. And I think that was what's ultimately kind of being a problem. If he played Font of Power, he would lose that Spell Burst, can't threaten a Twilight Runner, for example.
Ooh. Astromancer. Solarian!
Alright, TJ's favorite card.
Wait a second. Is he going to go for a Mana Giant this turn? You'd have to kill his Sorcerer's Apprentice. Oh, no, he can't even do it. Never mind. No, he can't do it because the first Ray of Frost is not a spell. Is a spell that started in his deck.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if that was even something that was worth going for, because it does seem that from Nalguidan's perspective, he's very much still like piecing things together, and like even if he played Mana Giant, he'd still not have a good follow-up to it right now. So
yeah. No, this seems fine. It's just like throwing the Sorcerer Apprentice out there. But I like the tempo because you saw Swipe, you saw Crystal Power. It's still a turn away from Guardian Animals. naturally, and that's the big change, right? He would have to have another soft ramp here in order to go for it. And a lightning bloom germination. Wow. Okay. Okay. Maybe senses the mana giant, wants a guaranteed way to deal with it.
That's possible. I think that maybe he feels like he wants to just fill up his hand and capitalize on ramp while he can and play for tempo. I think that also makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, his hand's looking a little bit weak, and he wants to be able to be much more responsive to what his opponent's doing. I think that all makes sense.
The Dragoncaster's active now.
Okay. There you go. Magic trick. Confined.
Arcane Breath also active.
Oh yeah, Arcane Breath. But you get to target your own minions.
Whoa!
Another Malagos. And you just get burned. Cool. Cool. Very cool. Let me find the Frost Nova. If you found the Frost Nova, that would have been sick. Wow.
What a turn!
Okay.
That turn was so cool. Look at his
Dude
hand
Sculptor.
now. He's got a Dragoncaster that's active. Not that that matters too much, but if he had picked up like Malagos' Flame Strike, he could have Dragoncaster Malagos' Flame Strike. Which is cool. The Malagos was active, and he picks up Polymorph, which is great because it allows him to deal with just one big thing. And gets to play a Mana Giant as well. Also Shinvala. It did cost him a Sorcerer Apprentice in order to make a play like that, but still, that play was cool. The turn was cool.
That was a very cool play. And now, I mean, Nalguidan is still well positioned to go later into this game, but like Rami might be starting to plan how he can utilize his Malagos in this hand right now. I don't think there's many good ways to, because if he pushes it out now, he only can play a Moonfire, and it can't even kill the Giant. So it's just a Lake Thresher.
Oh. It's just like almost lethal.
Yeah, this is 8 plus the 4 is 14 to the Mana Giant. You could play that Fireball for free, technically, with the Dragoncaster. This doesn't feel great. I guess Wand Maker just makes the most sense.
Ooh. Actually, it's kind of an awkward turn, honestly. He has to use Malagos' Polymorph just to,
I will crush your delusions of grandeur.
Job's done.
Alright, he's willing to give him some draw because he's setting up for lethal.
Right.
Draw up the Twilight Runner. Just playing for tempo, saying, alright, you gotta make something happen. Rami does have Forest Warden Omu. And Malagos Moonfire. Is there a way that he can clear everything off the board? Oh, another Moonfire.
Okay.
That Guardian Animals is dead.
Yeah.
No beasts.
He's already drawn all his beasts, so that much is expected.
Yep.
I wonder.
So I think Malagos can actually come down here and clear off the board. Your opponent's kind of showcasing that they're pushing damage in the game. That you need to they're trying to end the game. So I think from here, I think I like. Okay, he's gonna go for Malagos just straight up here. Oh, okay. So that way he can potentially use Omu next turn. That's logic.
He's dead.
Well, he's just dead. Yeah, I think I was gonna try to think about playing 5-drop Lightning Bloom Omu, then like Innervate, get the 10th mana crystal, and just play a bunch of stuff. But I think that would have resulted in the same thing here, which is that Nalguidan gets the win, and a quick win it was. 2-0 for Nalguidan, who's in a pretty good spot here to close it out and pull himself higher up on the standings. Maybe even leapfrog. He will be leapfrogging Rami. They're both tied at 5 and 6 in the standings, respectively, at 3 and 3. So a win here for Nalguidan gives him, at the very least, one additional series that he can play for in the relegation bracket. But we will have to see how Firebat's series goes with ETC before it's all said and done.
Well, if Nalguidan wins, it makes it pretty cut and dry. If Nalguidan wins, it means that the second person who is auto-relegated is either Rami or Firebat. If Firebat wins his series, he takes 5th or 6th seed. If he loses his series, he's auto-relegated. And if he won his series later on, then Rami would be auto-relegated. Nalguidan is effectively playing for seeding here. If he loses or wins this match, it only means that he finishes either 6th or 5th. If he loses, he finishes 6th. If he wins, he finishes 5th, which is actually a pretty big distinction because that means if you finish 5th, you have one less match to play in the relegation bracket, or one more match to play in the relegation bracket. So you give yourself one more chance to get qualified back into Grandmasters, essentially, in the relegation bracket. So a lot riding on it for both players, but for Rami, I think especially, because if he loses, whether or not he's auto-relegated is out of his hands at that point. It comes down to whether or not Firebat can beat ETC. So, pretty big series here.
Yeah, very much so. And we're going to go into game number 3. Nalguidan has his Control Priest ready and locked in. Rami's going to go to Malygos Druid. An important opportunity for Malygos Druid to get a win here versus Control Priest. And if he doesn't, then it probably wasn't going to be Rami's series anyway, since this is definitely one of the better matchups on paper for the Malygos Druid to try and capitalize upon. We have seen some people choose a couple of different strategies to try to approach today, and one of them was, can we figure out an opportunity to corner Priest? And some players have successfully done that, and some players have tried and failed.
Yep, and again, Priests, these Control Priests have been playing more for tempo. The lists are cutting a lot of their situational tools. They're cutting dependencies. They're cutting the hard removals like Shadow or Deaths. They're cutting Breath of the Infinite and Holy Nova, and instead they're adding in more early game tempo tools. Cleric of Scales to find the Draconic Studies, to find the Renews, to find the Apotheosis. I worry more and more for Malygos Druid just because of the fact that Guardian Animals comes out a little bit later. Priest has additional tempo options, and sometimes you can just get run over in the game and are forced to use combo pieces. Because in the past, we used to say, okay, Priest wins this, or sorry, Druid wins this because they have so much time and they can just keep waiting for resources and then eventually combo you for 30. But nowadays it's hard because the Priest can't capitalize on a board state. This is a great hand for Rami, though, as Breath of Dreams, which with Dragon in hand, which is Ysera Unleashed, which is one of the best for the matchup. Has Guardian Animals already. Just missing one more form of ramp in order to really get things going. But Nalguidan's hand is good too. He gets to really beef up Ascetic Veil with Grave Rune.
That card's pretty nice for the Ascetic
he
Veil
nailed
Weaver.
the Overgrowth! Oh my gosh! What in the world?
Grave Rune's still pretty solid, though. Very
Not
solid.
as solid as just having 7 mana crystals on turn 3.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good, too. But I would definitely say that Rami can still set himself up for success here. Not the end of the world by any means. Certainly annoying, though. And I would say that overall, right now, Nalguidan, however you choose to play this turn, is going to pretty much shape the rest of his game. If you choose to play the Cobalt Spellkin, kind of accepting that Rami's going to play the Guardian Animals and just get really far ahead.
Yeah. He's just going for your Sarah. Then next turn he can draw with Guardian Animals, and he has Geppetto. No matter what deck you're playing, you're not beating this. You're not beating this start. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think there's an
still...
opportunity for Rami to whiff here. Like, if Rami still doesn't find... Like, yeah, I mean, that Geppetto is pretty nuts, but...
He has Guardian Animals
like, if Rami...
turn.
Yeah.
Oh!
Oh, okay. Mind Games and Malagos out, right?
Well, not this turn. I kind of want to Mind Flare this turn.
You can't. Yeah, you can't this turn, but like you will be able to next turn.
And you want to wait till for Guardian Animals, right? To play it, so you're not just getting a beast. I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I kind of want to force it. 412. Excuse me. He has a 412. And keep pushing.
Makes sense to me.
Magic is not a toy.
Wow.
28 cards in his deck.
Wow. Immediately drawing 2 portals.
And
what
Broom.
a boss.
Whatever, man.
Well, he could just Guardian Animals this turn.
Yeah, I don't know. If I was playing against this start on ladder, I would just be furious.
You would instantly concede, wouldn't you, TJ?
I would have. Like, I don't even want to play this because the win wouldn't even feel that good.
What? The win feels extra good.
No,
oh,
not
you
me.
mean if you're the druid?
I guess I'm weird like that, where I don't really want to be vindicated.
Yeah, you are weird. What?
Wait, is that another?
Sense.
Oh my gosh! He had 28 cards in his deck at the beginning of this turn. 4 portals.
Time waits for no one.
And it stopped right when his board got full.
Nice. Everything is pretty much coming up Rami for this game. It looks like it is completely bowling over the breeze. Nothing for really Nalguidan to stress about. Okay, is there anything we can do here besides concede? Is there any...
My game's the Malagos.
Yes,
and then Holy Smite and get another Holy Smite.
Yeah, that works. Just gonna look immediately for a spell.
If he can find Wave of Apathy, maybe he can Cabal Acolyte Wave of Apathy and steal like Twilight Guardian and rush it for card draw, something.
Okay. Seems pretty optimistic.
Like to play with fire?
Yeah. I mean, he could pick apart some of this. Ooh, Holy Ripple! That's 2 damage AoE.
Still a little bit shaky, though. Alright. So Nalguidan definitely navigated as well as he could have for this turn. Oh, wow. Pushing face damage because he didn't have enough attack to trade into the Onyx Mage Scribe. Rami has a free spell now. So if he plays the Geppetto, I guess he doesn't have hand space right now. He's holding too many cards. That's annoying.
What to do?
Well, at least he has a dead... Wait, no, he doesn't have a deck card in his hand. Guard Animals is... no, it's still up. Would make his last beast cost more, which then shuts off Guard Animals? I don't know. Oh, no, you don't want to play it because Malagos. You want to make it Malagos or Alexstrasza.
Yes, that makes sense. Still kind of a dicey situation here, though. Even though Nalguidan has lived to see another turn, Alexstrasza is...
In time, you too
Wait,
will
Omu, Embiggen, Alexstrasza, Swipe.
Yeah, that's lethal.
Or this
Right.
way around. Yeah, that's lethal.
Yeah. Okay, so Rami found it.
On
and that's gonna
turn
wrap
6.
it up.
On turn 6.
Yeah. It was not likely that Control Priest was going to get this win, but like Malagos Druid, just, I mean, it hit everything.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've ever even... I have seen better hands than that, but it's arguable, right? Because the better hand that I saw also killed on turn 6, but it killed with Malagos instead. But if you were to tell me that, hey, wait, but you could have this draw, and instead of Malagos, you play Ysera Unleashed, and then shuffle all the perfect amount of portals on the top of your deck. So you draw a full board of massive dragons, one of them being Kalecgos, the very next turn. I'd say, all right, I'll take that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Malagos Druid will do that sometimes. That's why it's still a deck.
It definitely does, and like overall, I personally think that Malagos Druid still has some of the highest power in terms of like killing your opponents. It really doesn't matter if the guard animals cost 8 a lot of times for them, because they're just assembling combo pieces anyways, and when they combo, it's just really hard to stop once they get all that ramp rolling. But yeah, the series is now tied, and now the drama continues to ramp up here as Rami's going to turn to his Tempo Mage for game number 3. And try to see if he can find a win that he couldn't find in game number 1.
This is game 4? And Nalguidan's up 2-1?
Oh,
am I crazy?
Okay. Oh, you're right. It is game 3, sorry.
Yeah.
He won with the Rogue, and then
he won with Rogue and Mage. Yeah,
his Mage, correct. So he is going up against a Priest with the Mage here, and it should be a matchup that I believe... still goes pretty well for the Mage from what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And he does have that Devolving Missiles, which does seem to be increasingly more important in some of these matchups like the Priest, to stop them from doing anything too crazy early on.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he doesn't have like, some of the super techs for Priests like Archmage and Tinnitus, but even just the Cobalt Spellkin gives you just like a little bit of extra value. You can play more for tempo, potentially even not all in, but play more aggressively early, and still bail yourself out with Cobalt Spellkin and get more resources. So I tend to like this version of the deck more so against Priest than say the version that doesn't run Arcane Breath Cobalt Spellkin, because it does run more value. It runs out of steam a lot less.
Yeah, I like I like personally having a lot of those resources as well, just to give myself the ability to go long if I need to into the late game. So definitely on board with that as well. Going into the opening mulligans, Nalguidan throws away everything but the Cobalt Acolyte. Rami could justify keeping everything. Does end up throwing the Cobalt Spellkin away, which is okay because he wants to follow that curve, but a lot of times you still want like an early semblance of minions. So like the fact that he got the Promoter Studies is banking on the fact that he might have like a lab partner here, and he does hit it, but he chooses not to play it because he'd rather go for the Astromancer Solarian for higher value in late game instead of the card draw now.
Yeah.
I will crush your delusions of grandeur.
Now you can see why I still thought that Discovers were weighted more towards class cards. Holy crap!
Wow. Evocation, Potion of Illusion, and Counterspell.
Just missing Puzzle Box. Those are my 3 favorite mage cards.
That's right. I forget that they are your favorite mage cards, and you love telling people that they are your favorite mage cards.
I love telling you. Just so happens that other people are listening into our conversation, Dan.
Whoa. Eavesdroppers.
Bunch of eavesdroppers.
Yeah. Cram session for 3.
Oh my god.
Big value for Rami as he is able to get ahead, and now, not only is he ahead in the mana crystals, he's ahead in the card count. Nalguidan has to strike back through the Mind Flayer, and this is where cards like Devolving Missiles and whatnot can be pretty powerful, but looks like Rami has Sorcerer's Apprentice and Mana Cyclone in the hand now. He can just capitalize off of that. Whew. Due for a big turn, DJ.
Yep. So sick.
It's
Flux
very
of Mana
good.
Cyclone. Oh, look. Nice. Arcane Intellect. With Evocation in hand and Mana Cyclone.
It says explode.
I guess the Mana Cyclone's not so huge that you completely want to forego card draw, but get some pretty good stuff, honestly. Deep Freeze is a way to build a resilient board. Counterspell to be able to make sure you can capitalize on a board that you have by blocking the possibility of Soul Mirror.
Yeah, Nalguidan wants to stabilize onto this board with the Cabal Acolyte. Very understandable given that currently he's feeling like it's going to be too much pressure, but he's not going to deal with the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Dance, puppet. Dance.
And the worst outcome here for the Cabal Acolyte. What? Chenvala comes into the hand. That looks real good. But he doesn't have a guarantee way to activate it, so is it better instead to, say, play Double Secret and the Violet Spellwing?
Or is it just me?
Going for it. Just wants to go for the setup. He's just gonna rip the Evocation?
He needs one mana spell. Doesn't hit it.
He only gets 4 spells though. I don't know. I think we could have waited a lot more. And I guess the secrets don't really do a lot, so maybe he felt like, Flame Ward and Counterspell is not particularly good. I guess Counterspell is pretty solid now that your opponents use a coin.
Yeah, now Sorcerer's Apprentice dies though.
Yeah.
And his Shinval is just on the board.
Oh yeah, this went terribly. Oh no, it looks so good for the mage, and then I think Rami, went for the greed play, and actually it wasn't really greed; it was the aggressive play. I wanted a greed. He went for an aggressive play and was not rewarded.
Job done.
I mean, at this point, Nalguidan just has nothing to do, so...
Right. It's looking like one of those awkward games where Nalguidan can't really do anything anyways.
Yeah. Still no Shinvala activation.
Yeah.
So still an opportunity for Nalguidan to try and punish this, but there's still a counterspell up. Alright, contest for counterspell with Raise Dead. But just
then Blizzard.
Does this heal pass again?
Yeah, heal pass seems fine because Blizzard doesn't really stop too much significant damage, and you miss the 2 healing while your opponent deals extra 3. I think that's worth it for a trade-off.
Yeah.
I like it. He starts off with the double secret and then the Ray of Frost here. I think he is very much unhappy with the lack of production that Chenval has been able to generate here.
Finally gets a 5-5. You can renew test for counterspell again and then Blizzard.
Yeah, I think this is where the Blizzard is considered because he really needs to find a way to activate the Soul Mirror.
Yeah.
This looks right here. And what does Rami do in response? Does he just want to go for the deep freeze?
I don't think so. I think he can just... maybe. Because if you go for like Wand Maker and try and get another 5/5 with Shinvala, you might be blocked. Because if you Ray of Frost one of your own minions here, it kills it. Because they're already frozen and you have spell damage on board. Yeah, I guess you do Deep Freeze.
Yeah.
In that case, I wonder if Nalguidan goes Murazond here. And then tries to follow that up with Soul Mirror. That's just a lot of damage to take if he doesn't freeze one of the higher attack minions on the opponent's side. It's very likely that he freezes a minion on the opponent's side.
What is a loon's will?
But not guaranteed. Soul Mirror here doesn't feel particularly good because you still leave the Shinval up on the other side of the board. You do freeze the water elementals on the other side of the board and develop it yourself, but honestly, I think at this stage, I kind of felt like I wanted to take a little bit of a risk there and go for Murazond. Ah, no, he hadn't tested for Mirror Entity yet, right? Yeah, never mind. Murazond's bad.
You know what is great? Solarian Prime.
If Solarian Prime does anything meaningful right now, I don't think Nalguidan comes back. He doesn't even have to Solarian Prime.
Yeah, he doesn't have to go for it.
Bad, though.
You can just play this Raz, for example, trade a little bit, or like just let the freeze work and then establish his board presence that way. Nalguidan really doesn't have many ways to answer it. What I am slightly concerned about is if his opponent does find a way to go for Soul Mirror again, but I don't think that's possible since he already has dumped some of his cards already. They can generate that. What can we do in response here? Draconic Studies can find the only Rusher's Evasive Worm I think that can help here. I don't think that's enough. Murazond summons the Raz and the Wand Maker.
I wonder.
Alright, this is looking real bad. Looking real bad right now.
Let me change your mind.
And looks like he's just going to try and dominate the board just a little bit more. Cabal Shadow Priest kind of does what he wanted to do anyways, which is kill off that Chenvala and then call it a day. 11 power still showing with Arcane Missiles and the possibility that Solarian Prime closes it out here. This is a good Solarian Prime situation because there's so many targets from his opponent to get hit by. Solarian Prime's targets.
Spell damage minion also? So you get more spell damage on whatever spells you cast?
Yep.
Also, you get more damage to the face with Raz Frost Whisper at the end of the turn.
Exactly.
I like it. He could also just Blizzard and keep pushing. He could pretty much do whatever he wants at this point and still have a good shot. He's going for lethal.
I like it. Just trying to pressure here. Nalguidan leans back, knows that This is an unlikely situation where he's going to come out ahead.
Yeah.
Time runs out.
Fireball's lethal.
And that's going to do it. Yeah. And so that's going to be game number 4. Rami ties it up. Priest takes 2 losses, which sends us to the inevitable Game 5 Priest mirror, TJ. Know it,
How
love it,
could
get
end
used to it.
Any other way?
Mm-hmm.
And it's for a lot too, right? It's for, you know, Rami to avoid auto relegation. Even though if he loses this match, he's not guaranteed auto relegation. It's out of his hands, and it comes down to whether or not Firebat can beat ETC later.
Yes.
So pretty big deal. Also, something that we haven't noted, but Firebat does have a lot on the line in this match as well, because if Rami does win, it means Firebat is automatically relegated. There's no scenario that he can gain, that he can get with Rami winning that lets him avoid auto relegation. So he's going to be watching from the sidelines on this game and rooting for Nalguidan, because that's the scenario that at least gives him a chance, at least gives him something to fight for in his matchup later against ETC. So pretty big one.
Yeah,
pretty big one. This is a very important Priest mirror.
It's a very important Priest mirror that has a ton of implications for the standings that you're talking about, and so we're going to turn to the deck list and take a look at them. They are pretty similar in that they have a bunch of those Priest cards, but the big difference is the Galakron being in the deck list. So Rami does have the value advantage. So Firebat fans, I mean, this is definitely looking like it could go Rami's way on paper before the first cards are drawn, but we have seen some crazy value off of the Priest decks that don't have nearly as much greed, and they find a way to get there anyways. And, you know, like if your opponent plays Galakron and you have, say, a Murazon to just play the Galakron right afterwards, you're kind of in that same boat anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting because the only card difference is a Galakron on the side of Rami and a Madame Lazul on the side of Nalguidan. There's a world where Madame Lazul just turns into a Galakron.
Sure.
So
that's right. There's a lot of ways to get it. There's a lot of ways to get it.
Yeah. You can also just play Murazon on the turn the Galakron if the matchup is you think it's going more towards value than it is tempo. A lot of differences. So Rami faced with both Cleric of Scales. Cleric of Scales is an interesting beast in this matchup. Because if you pick Cleric of Scales, and if you keep Cleric of Scales and go with Cleric of Scales early, you're committing to winning on a tempo game plan. Because Cleric of Scales pulls a spell from your deck, gets you behind a fatigue.
And I mean, you definitely have to start planning for that. You can't just say, "Oh, you know, it's so early in the game. Does the fatigue really matter?" It does.
Decent hands for both players.
Ooh. The Brightwing on 2, into the Rafam on 7, TJ. The dream.
the
dream.
Crimson Hothead is probably my favorite dragon to pick from Draconic Studies, because having that 3/6 early and then being able to activate it is just so many raw statistics on the Crimson Hothead. Reminds me of Twilight Guardian being, you know, so potent in early game Dragon Priest mirrors in the past. But nothing is as potent as Brightwing into Archvillain Rafam. Let's see it.
Oh, even better. Mana or Millhouse Mana Storm.
All right, so
2 mana
Millhouse
4/4
Mana Storm,
enemy spells.
completely unplayable. I mean,
Is
it's
it,
not
though?
completely
What
unplayable.
if you play it now? What are your opponent going to do?
He's going to Sethic Veilweaver and go infinite. He's going to Sethic Veilweaver and he will kill you. It's lethal. Dan, you spotted lethal.
Dang.
Congratulations. I guess he doesn't have any targeted spells, but I mean, all his spells cost 0, so he could just Cleric of Scales and then find one.
Right.
I must consider.
Rami actually doesn't have many reliable plays to get rid of the Brightwing, but he can play the Crimson Hothead to get in the way. Doesn't have taunt yet, though.
On wings of destruction, they come.
Cleric of Scales would have found the Apotheosis, Shadow or Death, or Wave of Apathy. Wave of Apathy is generally like the strongest tool that you can have early, but Shadow or Death immediately answers the Brightwing. And Death is a little bit of a tricky card to use sometimes in this matchup. Oh ho! Trying to see if he can collect value off of Aesthetic Veilweaver, perhaps? The issue is you're giving more value to things like the Brightwing. So, it's a little bit of a trade-off there.
What is a loon's will?
I guess Nalguidan's fine with how this board state is at the moment. Not really any incentive to do anything more than just keep the status quo. It just feels like Rami already has a huge value lead. But we've seen that not mean much. If we go back to the last series, Arthorn showed that it doesn't take value to win a Priest Mirror. All it takes is strength of will and sheer brain power.
And some Penflingers.
And some Penflingers. But how do you get those Penflingers in your deck? Sheer brain power.
Checkmate. You got me.
You've got me fired.
Well, Cabal Acolyte was picked up off the top from Rami, but no way to get this attack boost from the Mind Flayer. Okay. Sething Veilweaver Holy Smite is a nice little start there. Also has a Sething Veilweaver inside here. The start piecing together some stuff.
Oh wow, that's another penance. I mean, this is a way to collect value. Psyche split.
Mind games. What a hand.
I mean, it's just a bunch of random collections of stuff, like Millhouse, Mind Games. Some of the most weak cards that Hearthstone's ever seen in general. Nalguidan seems to be on a mission to collect all of them.
Yeah. All right, so this is a pretty big decision point for Rami. Goes ahead and plays the Galakron. This is a turn before Murazon can come out, which means that Nalguidan cannot copy it. But this does give up some tempo, pretty minimal, or potential value as the game progresses.
It's a lot of value. Yeah, because that hero power generates a priest minion every single time you hit it.
Yeah, but the question is how many times will he be able to hit it if he's behind on tempo? That's the argument in that case.
On wings of destruction they come.
Yeah, and Rami maybe feels more confident to dig aggressively into his deck now because he
Wave
has
of Apathy.
What did he take?
Didn't hit the Sethic.
Dance, puppet, dance.
I saw the look of disappointment on his face.
Now does he want to Murazon right back? It's a pretty decent Murazon. You get a Cabal Acolyte, the Wave of Apathy right back. Cleric of Scales is just pretty whatever. Alternatively, He could look to play some of his other spells here, like Psyche Split. Get even bigger minions and more value.
Yeah. Psyche Split's interesting. You just saw Rami dig for the Wave of Apathy and then jam it off the top. So you can be pretty confident there's not another one. But I think I want to look for some additional options here before I commit to anything. So see what Clerical Scales has. Wave of Apathy, I think, is... he has Cabal Acolyte in hand, so that's why the Wave of Apathy comes into play. But Renew could find him something interesting. Also, I felt like there was value in Race Set too, because he's had some good stuff.
Lazul Scheme?
Oh, that's good for Cabal Acolyte, because you get to kind of choose which one you want to take. If he goes with this, he won't overdraw, so this should be fine. You're left with 9 cards in hand at the end of this turn. Power Word Feast, Holy Ripple. A lot of spells that Rami can't account for.
Yeah, I think if he had a little bit more time, probably would have ripped that Holy Ripple instead. Makes sense, though, I think. Overall, he's in a pretty okay spot for not being able to copy the Galakrond. And in the end, you know, the Galakrond, realistically, while it could produce a really good amount of minions, sometimes it doesn't do anything. It's rare when that happens, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, like if you're behind on tempo the whole game, you just never get to press the button.
Right. But, I mean, this is great tempo from the Twin Tyrant. And Rami revives cheap minions, but the Cleric of Scales, again, you know, those are cards where you have to be careful not to go a little too ham on.
Yeah, you really don't want to play those two aggressively. Right now, he doesn't even have a dragon in hand to be able to do those.
Yeah.
But he has taken
Also,
board, so now he can start pressing the hero power and can start collecting value. We're not going to realize is that he's still can find an opportunity here to... Oh, he can steal the Twin Tyrant. Okay. Holy Ripple plus Cabal Acolyte Wave of Apathy lets him steal the Twin Tyrant. Nice.
Yeah, you know, I think just thinking back about what happened a couple turns ago, Nalguidan got punished pretty significantly for not clearing out those 1/1s and having that Holy Ripple in the hand. Because it ended up being like the exact full clear that I think Nalguidan wanted to avoid. I'm sure Rami could have still cleared it, I think, with the tools in his hand, but it would have caused a little bit more awkwardness to break points. Murzond.
He got the worst... Wait, did he get the worst order? Yeah, he got the worst order.
Ah, it's okay. Mind Visions. Oh! Finds the Millhouse.
Puppet, dance.
Which is, that's
Who can play that game, Millhouse?
It's really annoying for Rami because that's a dead card in his hand. So if he's going to be like playing the value game of hero power, he doesn't want to play Millhouse.
Yep.
Which is very funny.
Yeah, and I've been diligently counting how many times Rami has pressed his hero power since he played Galakrond.
0.
I've been diligently counting. This is awkward for Nalguidan, because if he plays his own Murzond into this... Ooh, this Unsleeping Soul gets rid of this Wave of Apathy debuff and summons actually quite a big minion. Ooh! These were all fun.
I mean, mind control is very high quality.
Yeah. You can even Power Word Feast.
I like it. Trade, heal, climb ahead in tempo.
Mind vision. Does he get? That is pretty funny because they could just do that back and forth. And Nalguidan, he moused over his mind control real quick. He's like, all right, now I can't play this card anymore.
Right.
You don't pick the one.
Yeah, he's looking at it. He's like, yeah, that's probably the one that I need to think about the most.
So the mind control wars does tend to favor whoever goes first and has a board position, but I mean,
yes,
Rami could also have the final say. So like, let's say they're trading 1 minion on the board, Rami will have the last lap. So that's the kind of dynamics that exist. Whether Rami ends with an advantage or he's forced to mind control while Nalguidan keeps pushing damage.
On wings of
All right,
destruction,
1. He has hit the hero power 1 time. They got a skeletal dragon. That's pretty good.
Yes, he has many opportunities to climb ahead. And Nalguidan's already starting to be starved out of this value. I mean, right now, Rami's target pre-strategy seems to be working out all the way
What
here.
is a loon's
Yep.
will?
Oh, Mass Resurrection. I was gonna say he's had a lot of really bad stuff die this game.
Right, the Cleric of Scales in particular.
But at this point,
Take
he probably just
Lazulski
gotta,
immediately for a card.
yeah, he can, which I think is honestly better than whatever else he'd get from another Mass Resurrection.
Okay, the Whispers of Evil. Whispers of Evil can get him a Draconic Lackey. The Draconic Lackey can be Ysera Unleashed. And the Ysera Unleashed can be 5 Malagos. Wait, Nalguidan doesn't have direct damage. Can be... I don't know, it can just be stuff.
Well, I promise you, Dan, it's gonna be stuff. There is stuff in there. Yeah, it does feel like Nalguidan's just kind of running out of the goods. Another Soul Mirror. Like, I feel like the only way Rami loses this is if he gets super greedy with value and just completely disrespects the board for many turns in a row.
Time is running out.
Like, because he has a resource lead, I'm pretty sure he can just Soul Mirror here.
That's what he does. Looks like he's gonna control as much as he can at the board. The resource advantage is on his side. Nalguidan has trades that he can make, but ultimately he can just play Murzon for his own Soul Mirror right back and push some damage.
Yeah. Rami has another Soul Mirror.
Ooh. The Dragon
look at the
Queen
duplicates.
Alexstrasza, or an Alex. Wait. What if it's just an Alexstrasza right now?
And then he pushes 10? How do you end the game?
What
Let's not worry
is a
about that.
loon's
Like,
You think your opponent has
like,
9
how do
cards
you
in
end the
hand
game?
and no way to heal? Yeah, Cobalt
Yeah,
Spellkin.
okay.
I like this just because he has one... He only has 2 duplicates left in his deck, which is one make. But as you saw earlier from Frozen, that could be his very last 2 cards. Let's get a Renew here. Soul Mirror. That's Penance from the Renew. Oh, the
Well,
circle's
so what could have happened here was if he chose to if he did chose to pick Alexstrasza, and his opponent couldn't answer the board, he would have been able to hold Alexstrasza and go for a 2-turn lethal setup.
Ah, actually, that might be even better. Right now, Nalguidan is Brazilian to Solmir.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I kind of wanted a tempo option in case Rami played like a top minion and he could just like...
Cobalt Smoke is just too good. It's too good. In
I agree. Cobalt Smoke is so good, and this is totally fine. And like we know that it would not have worked out. This is just more of a theoretical perspective.
Yeah. Like he has a Cobalt Acolyte in hand that could give him a Wave of Apathy. Mind Vision could give him like another Mind Control or Skeletal Dragon. I mean, he's got to pull the trigger on another Solmir. And while he does have a board, he's giving initiative over to Nalguidan. Be able to answer it. Another Murzon. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Time is running out.
Wait. So Solmir plus Penance clears. Maybe Whispers of Evil, so you can look at what lackey you get. Maybe that changes things. So that's one alternative. The other is to actually pull the trigger on Mind Control, I think. You would take the value trade, Mind Control to 6-7.
No,
and
you
then
do that
push.
because you're ahead. You get value trades. Your opponent can't Mind Control back because like, that's too much tempo to give up.
Right.
Rami could
plays
Murzon.
Right, but
then you don't control which one. And I think Nalguidan comes out on top of that trade.
You think this is you?
Oh, he's getting Murzon.
Nalguidan's like, oh my gosh, like I'm fighting this game with just the cards in my deck. He also gets to play a Radiant, so.
Okay. Best target for Rami to steal ends up picking up a very beefy minion. So Whispers of Evil first for Nalguidan. Solmir still... Yeah, Solmir still works here and you can push. Yeah. This is how big stealing that 6-7 versus 6-1 is, because Nalguidan would have a 6-7 on his side. I guess he gets to keep a 6-1, so Rami has Holy Nova, which is very big. But he can't really develop like a taunt behind that. Holy Smite? Holy Smite and Holy Nova!
Holy
Oh
Smite.
my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. And Nalguidan really tried hard, and I think he pieced together a very reasonable offensive, but it does not look like it was able to last for long enough. And just too much random resource generation here from Rami. One more time. I mean, this Renew and Mind Vision, though, this dynamic can actually still keep Nalguidan in, and Nalguidan's doing a great job keeping the tempo pace here as best as he can. While Pyromancer picked up with the Apotheosis and the Shadow Word Pain. Is that a board clear? No. Almost,
Pyromancer, Apotheosis, Shadow Word Pain, Embalming Ritual's not a board clear.
Almost. Good, but not quite.
It's not that many resources. You've been struggling to find Apotheosis targets.
What if?
Also pretty low health. I mean, what's the other option? Like Skeletal Dragon, Shadow Word Pain, but that doesn't feel particularly good because then Cobalt Acolyte still exists. You're Opponent just got 2 1-mana spells. You could get blown out by a Cabal Acolyte Wave of Apathy.
Time is running out.
A simple spell should
Oh, goes for the Cobalt Spellkin to start things off. Did not want to commit to life gain. Finds 2 Mind Visions. He'd be spending a lot of his turn and his mana.
Wait, what?
Not answering the board.
Should have done this on the Spellkin. That's just a 4-1.
Yeah, that's a lot worse. Okay. So Mind Vision can give him some pretty powerful stuff here. Finds a Skeletal Dragon.
Ooh.
But he doesn't know about Mind Control?
He does know. Oh, no, he doesn't know about Mind Control. But at this point... Soul Mirror!
Wait, how good is Soul Mirror right here?
He gets a 4-1.
He gets to trade immediately into it. He gets to trade immediately to his opponent's 4-1. Because he has a lackey on board. And then he's ahead. Skeletal Dragon it is. Just really wants a high-value dragon. I think he feels like this is harder to play. Skeletal Dragon is harder to play versus Soul Mirror. Soul Mirror always has use cases, I think. And we get to find out what dragon it is. Aeon Reaver.
It's good for tempo.
It is good for tempo. Nalguidan's getting pretty close to the finish line. But Rami does have lots of ways to answer this. Finally has an opportunity to use his Apotheosis for the biggest swing yet of life that we've seen. But will he choose to do it?
Do you like to play with fire?
6 life here. Mind Vision just to keep
I mean, this is where the
going.
mistake from last turn is really going to punish him.
Yeah. Because
that's a 4-1 in that Mind Flayer Karj, whereas he could have had a 3-5.
Yes.
Like, those are the types of mistakes you can't afford to be making in matches that are this close.
Yes, agreed. Kills off the Skeletal Dragon. Bounces back up to 24 life. And all of a sudden, this game has basically reset.
All right, he's looking for Holy Smite here. All Shadow Priest. Inner Fire? He could use that to... He could Cabal Shadow Priest the Cobalt Acolyte and use the Inner Fire to take power off the board. Wow, there's actually a couple ways to do this, right? He could Cabal Shadow Priest, the Sethic Veil Weaver, and then Inner Fire either the Twilight Drake or the Wild Pyromancer to get a value trade over it. It's probably the Wild Pyromancer in that case to limit the health, because it would go down to 2 attack. Get a value trade over it, have a chance to get like a Holy Smite or something for 1 mana. I mean, Psyche Split when you're ahead on board works.
It is nice. Well, Apotheosis isn't super good unless you want to pick up a value trade and play Skeletal Dragon. Could also just trade. You could Hero Power first. I think Hero Power here makes sense if you want to capitalize on value. I guess Rami feels like he's just wants to struggle versus the tempo.
He hits. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he didn't steal the Sethic. I forgot there was another 2-attack minion. He could have guaranteed it.
Yeah. He could have traded into it, but I think he wanted to trade into the Twilight Drake. Oh wow, there's a lot going on in this matchup that feels like it's tricky.
Oh. He's taking his opponent's most powerful mace since he's going to trade into it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, and it has rush because the Goblin Lackey.
Yeah. The Goblin Lackey gave it rush. That's really smart from Rami.
Now Nalguidan can do it right back, though. Nalguidan is all of a sudden also ahead in value. Rami has hit his hero power twice.
Well, because
in
he's
8
pressured him.
turns. Yeah, it's pressured him, and that's how the dynamic usually works. Is you have to spend an entire turn playing Galakrond. A lot of times you fall behind a tempo. Now he gets to take both of these because the Spellburst triggers before, and then he gets to raise that to trigger the second one. And that is a huge amount of tempo.
Woo! More tempo cards.
Puppet, dance.
I think you want to trade into this dragon.
He's ahead in fatigue slightly.
I guess I can see the hand, so I can see the way this could end ugly. But Rami does have additional plays. Ends up going for a hero power first. Finds
Scarlet
junk.
Subjugator, not good.
So we're talking about how sometimes the hero power doesn't do enough.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it actually ends up being alright.
Yeah. I mean, all right.
Crazed
for this
Netherwing.
specific
But
instance. Oh.
I wonder
Wave
if
of Apathy,
Soul
Soul
Mirror
Mirror.
is good. Yeah.
You get a skeletal dragon.
Duh, I guess he
I
wants
guess
to
you don't
save
need the wave of
apathy?
apathy. You don't need the wave of apathy. You can just soul
Yeah, yeah.
mirror because the other two will die no matter what. It's just about the skeletal dragon, and that only saves you. It saves you 3 health on your own skeletal dragon.
Well, do you want to trade all these other things into it?
Well, you're trading one thing into it, right? Oh no. Yeah, you're right.
Guess you could trade the. You could trade the one maker. It does open up more things to potentially.
I mean,
it gives your opponent less, oh god, my brain's starting to fry. More things that they could potentially take that you don't want them to.
Emerald
Explorer.
That's really good.
Wow, and you're right. The value's completely on Nalguidan's side.
Yeah.
Rami might find AoE here, but he doesn't have the dragon to activate Crazed Netherwing, which would have been nice. Maybe this is the time for him to pull the trigger on Mind Control.
Yep, and pick up a dragon. Try and see if that can get him in this. That's a full turn. Emerald, the Azure Explorer. So Nalguidan's got to sense some weakness here, and I feel like he can make an aggressive push. Yeah, Holy Smite would be great. Cobalt Spellkin, Twilight Drake, I think is a good start here for like a basis of a play. The 1-mana spell could change things.
I want a turbocharged tempo. I want a Twilight Drake and Aeon Reaver and push.
The Aeon Reaver is just kind of your emergency button, though. But I see where your head's at. At this point, maybe you don't need an emergency button.
Go, EJ.
All right, push 6. Sets up lethal, right?
Yes. Nalguidan would setting himself up for success, and Rami can't really afford to take too much more damage.
Ooh, Cabal Shadow Priest.
Okay, Cabal Shadow Priest is nice, but he still has to deal with this board. Renew has to find removal. Does not find it. Well, he finds like soft removal. Holy Smite can help. Thoughtsteal. Thoughtsteal for something. He's desperate. More value, which he doesn't need. Oh, he could find Wave of Apathy. Well, he already has Wave of Apathy. Okay, so Wave of Apathy, Cabal Shadow Priest. You've got to take the biggest threat off the board here. That's Twilight Drake. And if he finds 2 Inner Fires off of this Cobalt Spellkin, that still wouldn't be enough, would it?
No.
Wow.
He can Twin Tyrant, though.
Yeah, Twin Tyrant looks very good.
Twin Tyrant, he's He's leaving the Twilight Drake up and a good amount of health on it, but it still puts a bunch of pressure on the board. Cobalt Spellkin, I guess he could Wave of Apathy to end the turn? Ooh.
Now I get out deep in the tank thinking about what cards that he could potentially pick up off these discovers to help him. Koenig Studies finds Honest Mace Scribe, Evasive Worm, Dragon Moth, Sky Stalker, all too expensive. They cost.
Yeah, but for future turns, I think tempo here with the Evasive Worm is more important. Yeah. Nalguidan agrees.
A simple step.
He's just gonna go for it. More 1-mana spells to open up that possibility. Rami still has yet to find a way to stabilize onto the board.
I mean, this is a pretty big stabilization, right? He has Crazed Netherwing. All right, Septic Veilweaver plus Apotheosis. At this point, I can't even determine if... It's Holy Smite! That's the only targeted spell in the hand! Oh, and Bombing Ritual. To keep the Septic Veilweaver going. But is this... He needs more tempo options. He needs another targeted spell.
Right.
He needs to keep chaining them.
Oh
Power
my
Shield!
goodness. Okay, and that's it.
Stops there.
I guess here you Radiance. No, he's gonna heal. He's gonna heal from the Apotheosis trade.
Lightwell, ugh. So he's gonna heal a lot here, but that's not a big push on the board.
Yeah, it's not enough tempo to win back decisively. Nalguidan has the Evasive Worm ready.
I'm looking at
He also has
Twin
Twin
again.
Tyrant. Twin Tyrant is really good in this spot, actually, because he can still use the Holy Smite.
Yeah.
So I like trading to the Septic Veilweaver and Twin Tyrant. He also could use the Wild Pyromancer here. There's a lot of options, actually. Nalguidan has to very quickly decipher that in 70 seconds. So I think I like Twin Tyrant. Your opponent's kind of shown a lack of ability to deal with these tall minions, and I think I like that a little bit better than just playing the Evasive Worm, because Evasive Worm still has some drawbacks. Like, you can't really keep it alive, you can't really heal it. Twin Tyrant's like better, you can keep it stable on the board. It looks like Nalguidan agrees here. He's gonna go Twin Tyrant. And that Holy Smite. And go face. Once more, pushing on the tempo. I mean, these are the kind of Priest Mirrors that I think are actually very fun to watch, because it's just constant battle back and forth and trying to maximize what they can here. And Rami finds the Cabal Acolyte, but with no targets and no ability to reduce the attack damage right now. Crazy Netherwing damages himself, but it does clear up a little bit of the board. Twilight Drake. So this is the point where Evasive Worm can be strong. Now Nalguidan can start things off with the Draconic Studies, though, to just see what he can get if there's a better play than that.
Yeah.
Maybe another Twin Tyrant. That'd be super good. No, it actually doesn't do enough damage to either minion. Oh, he's going to Raise the Dead.
Raise Dead is free. Cabal Acolyte, Wave of Apathy.
Just too expensive to play the Evasive Worm as well. But that's still good. And I think he can really disrupt his opponent too by playing like this Cleric of Scales for tempo, because then Rami has like more choices that he doesn't want.
Yeah,
More potential
like,
of minions that can get stolen.
Cleric of Scales not active because Nalguidan doesn't even have a spell in his deck. Last two cards are Wandmaker, Madame Azul. Rami's last card is Wild Pyromancer.
Dance, puppet. On wings of destruction they come.
And he can heal up his minion. Stay resilient. once more.
Rami takes
Nalguidan comes to you again,
too.
Rami. And he's out of cards.
Yeah, this hand does. He has to like hero power and hit Murazond or something. Madame Lazul, hope there's a Soul Mirror tucked in there. Nope. Millhouse Mana Storm again. Evasive Worm. I think he's dead.
No more spells to combo with stuff. And we've talked about how the Galakron hero power might not kick into play, and it really did not. Rami thought that may have been enough because he rushed it out, and yet, despite that, not able to get it done. Double Millhouse Mana Storm. Nalguidan is smiling, and with that, Nalguidan will win his final round robin stage match and advance to a 4-3 record and maximize his chance of staying in the Grandmaster system. We're going to have to find out how tiebreakers are going to settle after today, but Nalguidan comes out ahead in the match that mattered the most with a very clutch come from behind victory with an unfavored Priest deck in the Priest Mirror. That was a heck of an end to a series, TJ. Really well done by Nalguidan.
I just love the way Nalguidan played that one. Understanding his win condition in that particular matchup at the game state where his opponent has Galakron, he doesn't. Capitalizing every single turn, going max tempo every single turn, putting pressure on every single turn. That's how you do it. And even found some good value tools along the way to keep up the pressure. And I think Rami hit the hero power button 3 times that game and only, got a little bit of value from it. But overall, the tempo that he lost is what Nalguidan was able to capitalize on and bring that to a victory. So he locks in 5th place. So he can't move from there, regardless of who wins the last Division B match, ETC or Firebat. Nalguidan will finish 5th. If he had lost that match, he would have finished 6th. So he gives himself 1 extra match in the relegation bracket, which is very important. It gives him 1 more life, essentially. Rami now either finishes 6th or 7th, which is an even bigger distinction because 7th means you're auto-relegated.